If you read Gudor's chapter on human work, you should have a good sense of the changing nature of work over the years and the current issues we face. You should also have a good sense of how religious traditions understand work. In this presentation, I just want to highlight a few things about work and the nature of work. At the heart of the Protestant reformers' agenda was the democratization of vocation. Vocation was not just for priests, but all human beings of whatever station of life could participate in implementing the purposes of God. All persons could do their work for the greater glory of God. Not only the ends of work are important, but the activity of work itself has meaning. The Genesis account of creation gives a positive assessment of human work. Work is not punishment, but has meaning because through it one participates in the creative work of God. One expresses one's personhood, and that in it one's creative activity mirrors God. This stress on work as an expression of one's creativity and personhood led Pope John Paul II to argue that the subjective meaning of work takes priority over its objective content. The primary value of work is its subjective meaning to the worker. However, by stressing relationship as well as creation, one sees that the meaning of work activity is social as well. One's work becomes a basis for interactions with others and finds meaning in relation to God and others as well. Buddhist tradition also affirms the welfare of the worker and the social nature of work through its emphasis on right livelihood, doing work that contributes to the well-being of all rather than against it. Each person's work contributes to that greater good. Many Christians, from the biblical view to the original view of the Protestant ethic, considered service to God and humanity to be the ends of human work. Some have focused primarily on service to God and creation, and that one's efforts are a continuation of God's creative efforts. But it's important to understand that the ends of work are not simply the continued domination of nature, but also the enhancement of community. The same is true in the Buddhist tradition. One's work contributes meaningfully to the society in which one lives. These ideas have implications for what we might consider the good of work. Work is important for the personhood of each person. At the most basic level, work is the way that human beings fulfill their material needs. Harnessing nature for food, clothing, and shelter is work. However, as the words of Pope John Paul II indicate, the good of work for each person means more. Quote, "Work is a good thing for man, a good thing for his humanity, because through work man not only transforms nature, adapting it to his own needs, but he also achieves fulfillment as a human being, and indeed, in a sense, becomes more a human being. To be a person means that one is purposive, creative, and self-transcendent. The activities through which the individual expresses and realizes these aspects of his or her personhood are properly called work. To get a sense of this, stop this video and view Dan Ariely's TED Talk on what makes us feel good about our work. Work is also a means to fulfillment of one's social nature. Being in relationship means that one's experiences are social experiences. But relationship is not a passive experience. It requires communication, expression, creation, and response. Work is a means to these ends. Moreover, work provides a linkage through which the individual expresses her or his social nature. It's a fundamental activity through which individuals relate to one another. A lack of work severs an important linkage with others in the life of society. In addition, work expands the self of dependence upon and responsibilities for others. Through work, we learn that we should be dependable because others count on us, even as we depend upon the dependability of others. This is why unemployment is so devastating to workers. They lose the connections they have made and their sense of place in their family and their community. Work is a means to the enhancement of community. Through one's work, one creates the material and social conditions needed not only for one's own well-being, but also for the well-being of the communities of which one is a member, such as family, neighborhood, nation, even the whole human community. Moreover, one's motivation for enhancing community through work is the good of the community, not simply one's own good. This doesn't mean self-interested pursuits don't contribute unintentionally to the common good. Rather, it means that from an ethical perspective, the motivation or intention for doing so is more ethically significant than the result. Both Christianity and Buddhism affirm this issue of intent. Finally, these ideas have implications for what we consider good work. Good work is meaningful to the workers and to society. It does no harm. On the one hand, Christian and Buddhist views of work are broader than an economic view. It includes all meaningful activity that enhances God's purpose in creation and covenant, or that enhances the well-being of persons and community. Such a broad view of work includes many activities that are currently unpaid in the labor market, such as voluntary work and housework, as well as many forms of leisure. Thus, work is not equivalent to paid employment. On the other hand, Christian and Buddhist perspectives on work are narrower. There are some forms of paid activity that are so dehumanizing or destructive of community that they should not be considered work. It should either be humanized or not done. This is what is meant by the Buddhist notion of right livelihood. On the individual level, paid employment is a curse for some because it doesn't provide for one's material needs, for example, low-wage employment, or doesn't provide the opportunity to develop oneself, like make work. On the level of community, some paid work, such as selling drugs, harms individuals and destroys whole communities. Good work is also participatory. Minimally, this means that all persons who can work have the opportunity or the right to work. As suggested above, all persons need opportunities to express and develop their creative abilities in community with others for personal and social fulfillment, which means all persons need work. Lack of work restricts meaningful participation in important areas of society, denies opportunities to develop one's creative and moral potential, and leads one to question one's usefulness and worth. However, participation in work also means that workers and communities participate in the nature, shape, and direction of the work. Allowing such participation not only respects the worth of those involved, it also promotes community by encouraging the responsibility of each person to and for others. And good work is fundamentally cooperative. Some writers point to competition as the reason why humans develop excellence in their work skills and abilities. Without competition, a leveling of skill would take place, they claim. Empirically, this is only partly true. Most of our competencies and skills are shared skills, in the double sense that we're inheritors who do our work drawing upon the legacy of prior human skills, and through our work we continue and develop that legacy. Just think in terms of research science. You're building on the theories of others, and then you're trying to perpetuate or to prove or disprove those theories. The same is true for the productive capacities of society as a whole. Normatively, however, individualistic competition can lead to assertions of superiority and inferiority, pride in one's own accomplishments at the expense of the ends of community. However important competition is for human work, from a religious perspective, it cannot be the norm.